Hi everyone, welcome back. In the earlier video, we handled the exception when the JWT token is valid but it is tempered. We are going to extend that session and make it a little bit scalable. So I have updated a diagram over here. If we quickly look at the diagram that we discussed in our first video, we saw how the execution happens when the application is started up, as well as some of this file also executes in the runtime. We discussed all of those behavior earlier, but now I have updated the diagram. So what I have done is I have added one more block over here, you see, which is called auth error response. And you see over here, this is called at the runtime by the auth controller, as well as the security filter chain and the JWT filter over here. So it means I'm trying to standardize the auth error response contract here by creating the common auth error response class. So basically this will use the utility class pattern where we will use the stateless design just to make the contract consistent. Alright, so we are gonna add that particular new class inside our authentication module over here that will contain the two methods. One will be the write method, another one will be the response method. So basically what we will do is we will use that write method from the security layer. It means from JWT filter and the security filter over here. And we will use that response method from the controller layer, basically the auth controller that we have over here. Alright, so this is pretty much straightforward. One thing to note here is this particular class that we are gonna add will only run at the runtime. It means this is not a bin, this is a normal class that contains the utility. Basically we will use it stateless design. So it means we are gonna use static method over there. So let's go ahead and create a file inside here. So that will be a Java class. Let me add a new Java class over here. That's gonna be our auth error response. Alright, it says, do you want to add the following file to Git? Alright, we're gonna add it. So here, since I already told you, we are gonna use the stateless design. That's why first thing I'll make here is make the constructor private, just to limit the misuse of the constructor over here. Alright, and then as I told you, we are going to use two methods over here. So both of them are going to be the static method. One will be the response. One will be the response method. Alright, we are gonna actually we need to type this method. So it's gonna return the response entity, and it will accept the map data type, which will have the key, string, and value object. Alright, something is wrong here. Okay, so this will return the map. So this should, yeah, that is fine. And then this one should return the response entity. So something like this. So we are gonna actually make this little bit better. So for now, I'll just keep it as it is. Let's create another method over here that, as I told you, will gonna be another static method. That is gonna be the write method that will not return anything. That will just write the HTTP servlet request, basically. So here I just want the request that's gonna be http servlet request, request, and then I'm trying to autocomplete, just want to make my coding a little bit faster. So another one will be http servlet, it's gonna be response, actually response. All right, sometimes it helps a lot. And another is we need the status over here, status as well. And final thing is we need the message as well. All right, perfect. Okay, we will write few things over here. For now I'll leave it as it is. So as I told you, let me come back to the diagram that we have. We just created the auth hero entity, the auth hero response, and there we have the response method over here, and another one is the write method over here. So as I told you earlier, the write method, we are going to use it from the security layer, and the response, we are going to use it from the controller. Let me come back here. Let me make this a little bit better. The response one. Okay. So for this, I'm going to create another utility method that we will use in the response. So that will be public static. That's gonna be body, actually. Okay, let me see if it can help me. So this will return map that contains key, string, and value object. Okay, perfect. And that will take code, all right, message, okay, and the path. All of these are gonna be the string, and then this looks not good to me. This should be like this. And okay, string and object should be like this. Okay, and here I'm gonna return something like this. Okay, for now let me keep this as it is. So maybe we can quickly complete this because we are gonna use it right here in the response, and that we will use from the controller later. So this will return few things. One is the code. So code is gonna be code like this. Okay, all right, it auto-completed for me. And then message, and then path. Let me add one more thing here, timestamp as well. All right, okay, I thought the AI would help me over here, but it's not helping me. All right, that's fine. So here we will use the current time from the system. We can use instant dot now dot toString. Okay, so we need to make this is not object, this is the map. Okay, perfect. So this is what we will return from the body method that we have over here. So now we don't have to pass this like this. So what I can do is, before, okay, let me do this way, response entity dot status, and then here we are gonna include the status. That status would come from our parameters over here. Let's take few parameters like this particular response. let's take the first one to be the status itself. Let me type it HTTP status, and second one is gonna be the code, and third one is gonna be the path. Okay, it knows what I want. Alright, so now what happened over here? I'm doing response entity dot status. Okay, I'm passing status, it's not completed yet. And then in body, I will pass body like this. Alright, I did it. This is done for me. Now I need to complete the write method as well. Okay, for the write method, what I want to do is I want to write few things like we did over here previously in our JWT filter. If we come here, so we are setting the status, we are having the content type, basically the media type, we can say application JSON, and we are enforcing UTF-8 character encoding, and then we are sending our message over here. Let's do that over here so that we will replace that later. Okay, so for this I want to do one thing because we may get invalid JSON sometime. So let me add two more utility, then we will complete the code here in the write method. So first one is the escape one. Alright, it did it. Perfect. So what it will do is it will get the value, okay, and that will replace either this, the forward slash, or yeah, it will replace the forward slash to forward slash over here, and I want to add one more probably. So let me do this way. Probably can I do that? Dot replace again, or I will do replace, and what I will do over here is I want to actually replace these two. I thought it would help me. Did I do anything wrong over here? Let me see. Okay, I'm replacing this string. Okay, that's fine. Let me manually type it so that it will understand what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna replace that with the one forward slash and then the code. So basically what this will do is this will replace this forward slash to double forward slash and this double quote to basically forward slash double quote like this. Alright, okay, perfect. So we are gonna create another method over here that's gonna be public static string to JSON method. Okay, so that will take the string and the object. Perfect, that's what we want. And we will okay, let's call it, maybe body we used it above, let's call it payload, something like this. And from here we are gonna return, so this is very important, we are gonna return this, all the things that we wrote over here, the code, message, path, and the timestamp. Alright, I will expect AI to help me here, otherwise I have to type it again. So yeah, this is gonna, let me see if I typed it correctly. Okay, this is gonna return this string, that's the JSON string we want, and we have this string and the object. Probably it will help me. Let me check now. So let me start typing because we need a string over here. And oh, did it do something? Try to do it, but this is not something I want. I will try to type it so that it will understand. Let me see. I will do this way. The first thing I want is I want this to be code. Okay, now it is trying to understand me. Okay, the code will be payload dot get. Okay, perfect. And then it's gonna end it here and start new one. So what I want to do is I wanna actually convert this to string, right, dot value of something like this, and it should end somewhere here. Okay, perfect. And I want to wrap all of this, the string dot value of till here with the method below that we created, escape one. Okay, perfect. It did it very well. So now here we don't want this one. We will use another. We want to concatenate with another because we still have the message over there. Let me see if it can help me now. I will start typing. Can it do that? It's trying to search, I think. Okay, I'll do it manually then. This is a little bit difficult to type as well, so I will be missing some of this character over here. This is basically the Java format that it will mismatch at the runtime, so it should understand the appropriate JSON encoding that we are doing over here. So what we will do is we'll use the message, and this should have, okay, it is able to understand now. This is very, very nice. So I'm gonna autocomplete this. So this will be the message. Alright, it is using the method that we have created now. Alright, the payload message, that's what we want. Okay, and the path, it is using the path as well. Perfect, that's what we want. And the timestamp, perfect. It completed my two JSON method as well. Now we are gonna use it over here. Okay, we already accepted here the request, the response, we have the status over here, and we have the message over here. Let's also accept code as well. Okay, what we will do here is we will accept code as well. Okay, so let me go down in this line. Now here, the response, we will set the status to value, status.value, perfect. And then let's set the content type to application JSON. So for this, I would like to do this way. Probably I'll use something called media type over here. So response dot set content type over here, and that's gonna be media type. See, it is imported from Spring Framework, perfect. And application JSON value, this is the standard way. And response dot set character encoding to UTF-8, that's what we want. Now we are going to use that below method that we created. Okay, response dot get writer. Can it complete? No, not it. Right? Not it. Okay, here we are gonna write it ourselves. So we will use this toJSON method that we created down. Okay, think it should work. Let me quickly check here. Yeah, it is perfectly communicating with each other, toJSON and escape. It should work. And now I will actually call the body. Remember that we created already the body, and here I'm gonna pass this requires four things, the three things, basically code, message, and the path. So we will pass code over here. Okay, and message over here, and we will pass the path. It will come from request dot get request URI. Perfect. So something is wrong over here. I don't know what happened. It is not able to. Okay, the get writer function that I have used from the response. So let me see if I have, let me hide this panel. I wanna actually, did it something wrong over here. Probably, anyway, that's fine. It should be command 1, I think. Okay, it's not hiding, that's fine. Just to make this smaller. So something is wrong here. I'm using the get writer method from the response. We have the get writer method, and then we are writing to JSON where we have the body. Okay, so this response is coming. Okay, now over here this one is HTTP servlet response. So let me write here, because this should throw you know, IO exception. It should actually come not throw, it should throws IO exception. Let's import that. Import IO exception. Now it should work. Okay, perfect. Okay, so anyway, that's fine. So now what we have done over here is we have created this write method that will basically do all of these things that we have previously done in the security layer. We will go there and replace this there. And okay, everything looks good. We have the response, we have the write. Now let's come back to the video that the diagram that we saw previously. So over here we created this auth hero response. Now I told you we will create two methods. We already created. One is the write method, another one is the response method. So the write method, we will use that write method in the security layer. So basically the JWT filter and the security filter chain. So let's go back to the JWT filter then. Come here. So remember previously what did we do? We added these lines of code over here. So we are going to remove this one now. Basically what we will do is we still need that clear context. We'll basically replace from here to here and replace that with the write method that we have written here. That's the same code, right? So we will use this write method. So it's pretty simple. We have this auth hero response and we are going to use the write method, because do you remember we have that static method over here. We can directly use the write method. That's the benefit of having this static method over there. So write method, and here we are gonna pass request. We already have request, we already have response. Let me do this way, maybe. We already have response, and we are gonna pass status. We will get it from HTTP status dot, this is basically unauthorized, and then we will send the code. Basically we'll write it here, invalid token, something like this, and then the message, basically we need to send the message here, we need to write it. So that should be invalid token, valid or expired token, whatever you want. Perfect. Okay, so basically we replace the earlier exception that we were writing here ourselves. Now we are reutilizing the common class that we wrote ourselves. Okay, it should work now. So let's go ahead and try this particular lines of code. So we are gonna first start our application, and we need to go to the, once the application is started, we need to go to the auth controller. So whatever method you want, let me, we cannot use these two above methods, right? Because that is the protected route, and this particular, what we call it, do filter internal, will only run on the protected route, which requires the authentication JWT token. So we are gonna use, come here, auth controller, we are gonna use this /me method, the endpoint. So let's go ahead in the cold request. We can use postman as well. Later we'll try to use that. This is simple. Okay, so we have this invalid token over here. We have this route. So let me quickly hit this API endpoint. There we go. We got it. Perfect. We have the code invalid token, we have the message invalid token, the path, and the timestamp. Basically, we are trying to standardize, standardize the auth hero response contract. Okay, there we go. We'll close it down. We still have to, do you remember? We still have to use it over here. We just used in the JWT filter over here. We still have to use it on the security filter. Let's go ahead and implement in the security filter chain. So we want to go to the security config over here. That's basically where we have the security filter chain over here. So there, what we want to do is, see, what will happen if there is no token currently? We don't have that custom error response, right? So we want to utilize this particular security filter chain to do that. So below this, the authorized HTTP request, we are gonna add one more filter chain, that is exception handling. So we will take the exception E, and then that will have the authentication entry point function, basically the method, and there we will send request, response, and auth exception. All right, and then let me see, did it added the, okay, it added perfectly. So then what we will do over here is we will implement our auth hero response dot write method that we have, and here we will pass request like we did earlier, right? Response, and then the http status dot unauthorized. Okay, and here the code, let's pass on RIJD unauthorized. Let's do it unauthorized, and then the message over here. So missing or invalid or missing JWT token. Okay, there we go. So now if we don't have the JWT token, then this particular error response should come. Okay, let me restart the application. And now I'm gonna come back to the auth controller, here I will have to again use this API endpoint, where I will basically do not send this authorization header anymore. So carefully see the code. Currently it is invalid token. So let me hit this API endpoint again. There we go. We have the unauthorized missing JWT token. This is the path and this is the timestamp. Perfectly done. So the work of let me hide this. The work of the security filter, basically what we call it, the security layer. The security layer is completed, and now we wanna do something with our controller layer. So if we come back to the auth response, we perfectly utilize this write method that we have written. Now we want to utilize the response method that we have written. Where do we want to use it? In the auth controller. So let me come back to the auth controller and then we will implement it over here. So now if we go into the let's start from top. If we go into the auth register API endpoint, so currently we have this auth request coming here. I wanna also accept now HTTP servlet response and not the response, HTTP servlet request and then request. Let me write it maybe instead of HTTP request one, maybe HTTP request, something like this will be better. HTTP request. And now we want to implement it over here. We have the error message over here, right? So if there is the user already in the database, so if the user already exists in the database, what we want to do is we want to utilize our custom class that we have, error class that we have created, auth error response dot response method. Okay, so we want to pass 4 things over here. One is, let me come back again here. You see over here in the response method, we need the status. We need the code, we need the message, and we need the path. We need those 4 things. Alright, the status will come from HTTP status dot, this will be bad request. Okay, it is perfectly doing all of these things for me. Let me autocomplete. Okay, one more bracket it forgot to add, and then semicolon. Okay, perfect. So email already exists and email already exists. Perfect. And then HTTP status dot get request URI. Okay. It added over here. We don't need it. Alright. So that's the code we want to add here. We basically want to return this custom error message. Basically, we want to utilize the response from the auth error response. Okay, let's go ahead and restart the application quickly. And then I will go in the code request extension. Now I want to quickly register first. Okay, let me change this get request to post. Do we have a body? Perfect, we have it over here. Let me register first, because since this is in-memory database, right? Nothing is persisted. When we restart application, everything is gone. So this user is not there since we restarted. So let me register that user quickly. Okay, we registered the user. Now I'm gonna try register it again. So if user is already there, right? We didn't restart our application. It's there in the in-memory database. So it should actually utilize this error message now. There we go. We have the timestamp, we have the message, we have the path, we have the code. That's what we want. Perfectly done. Now we want to do it for the login method over here as well. So pretty simple and straightforward. Same thing we are gonna do over here. After the request, let me add the HTTP servlet request. HTTP request. Okay, now it is trying to understand what I'm trying to do over here. So here, right? So if there is if the user is null and the password is incorrect, right? So or password is incorrect. If user is null or password is incorrect, in that case what we are gonna do is auto-complete it. Done. That's the power of AI. Okay, auth error response dot response. It's gonna be HTTP unauthorized. Let's validate. Invalid credentials. Okay, HTTP request dot get request URI. That's what we want. There we go. Alright, that's all we want to implement. Let me try to restart the application again. Start it. Let me go to the extension. Okay. Let me start from the register again. Can I come here and click? Yes. So what will happen if I click on this button now? Will it throw this message? No, because we restarted, right? It will create the user. User is created. If we click again, then that will throw the message. Okay, now let's come back to the login. Okay, since the user is already there, it should give the response, the token and the user ID. Okay, so because the user is already there, we are sending the correct credentials since we just registered. Let me hit this. Okay, we got the email and the token, basically not user ID, actually email and the token. But now I want to invalidate the user. Basically, let me make the password incorrect. This password is incorrect. Now let me hit the request. There we go. 401 response. Coming from here, unauthorized, and then we have the path, we have the message invalid credential coming from here, and the code and the timestamp. That's all. That's what we want to implement in this particular video. Alright, so we finally implemented our updated architecture over here. So if we compare to previous one, we didn't have that common error class that we just added over here. So basically this is to standardize. Again, I want to iterate this. This is just to standardize the auth error response contract. So here we implemented the utility class pattern. Basically what we did, we created the private constructor and created all the methods static, so that we didn't have to create the instance of the class. We can directly call the class dot the method name, right? So basically this is a stateless design pattern that we have implemented. So we have implemented it in the security layer and the controller layer. So in the security layer, we implemented in the JWT filter to check if the token is valid. In the security filter chain to check if there is token or not. Okay, and then we have implemented the response method that we have created in the controller actually, just to check. Just to send the custom error message that we want to send in case of user already there and invalid credential. Alright, that's all for this video. In the next video, we are gonna enhance this application, make it more production ready slowly, so that we can complete this authentication module and jump into the next module. Thank you so much.